This is Code Pal and welcome to my channel. For today's topic, we will be talking about classes. We will start the video by talking about two main types of programming, which are functional programming and object-oriented programming. Classes lie under the branch of object-oriented programming, or OOP. All the other topics we have discussed so far lie under functional programming. Those topics include functions, variables, if statements, and loops, which are all within the main topic of functional programming. Object-oriented programming is the dominant type of programming now and can be summarized by three concepts: classes, methods, and inheritance. My aim for this video will be to explore these concepts and provide a brief introduction. This is a very challenging topic, so I want you to be patient. Classes are wrappers for data and methods, which are essentially functions. I will use an example today to explain classes. I'll be using the example of cars. We'll be starting by creating our own class where we define class by class keyword and we'll define a car. Class is essentially a blueprint that is used to make other cars. Like cars have certain data associated with them. For instance, it has a certain color, a certain model, a certain type, and so forth. All classes have this one function, which is the constructor. This constructor will encompass information like the name of the car, the model of the car, and the color of the car. We'll start by writing the blueprint here to create a class. When you look at this should look very familiar to you. This should remind you of functions. There are underscores and different initializations that are being used. However, it takes in certain parameters like name, model, and color. We'll define the data here. To store data into this class, we use the word self. Self is used inside the blueprint to refer to itself. So we'll write self.name equals name, the name the user puts in. Self.model equals model. Self.color equals color. The class we have constructed has these three data. Now we'll explore methods. We can create methods. We will create a method called fill gas. We want to know, is our car filled or not? We refer the self keyword here. This function can only be triggered by an instance of that class. The self allows us to access the data and methods of the class. Within the method, we will print the name of the car and that it is filled. We'll use self.name. So in summary, we have defined a class called car, which is made of a constructor and a fill gas method. Now let's use this class in application. The way a class is called is by creating an object of the class. We create a variable called my car. We will create this object by calling it car. This definition is similar to the constructor method. Do you notice that? This is interesting because when we create an instance where we create the car, we call upon the function to create a car. For our example, let's call the car Lightning that has the model Porsche with the color red. Now we can call the method, which is mycar.fillgas. We can run in terminal. When we run in terminal, we see Lightning is filled, and that is what is outputted. We can also print the car. When we do this, we get an address. We get a hexadecimal address, which can be translated into normal numbers. This is a memory address and tells us where our car object is stored within the memory. We can also print the type of the car. This would output us that it is called main car. It is the main car class. Alternatively, if we define dictionaries where name is Lightning, model is Porsche, and color is red, same information is stored in the object as with class. With this, when we print the car, we see what the output it is. Let me print the type of underscore class and run it, and let's see what happens. We notice that our class is a dictionary and the hexadecimal is not getting printed. We can get the function to print by using a function called self, and it can be printed as a f string. We would print self.name, self.model, and self.color, and we run it, we will notice that we are no longer printing the object, which is a significant difference. Let's add more information to return. Let's add name, model, and color. If we run this now, model, we can see the name Lightning, model Porsche, and color red. We also get main car outputted. This is because in the dictionary definition, it has been defined to printed in that particular format. Earlier in the video, we spoke of three concepts: classes, methods, and inheritance. While we have discussed classes and methods so far, inheritance is the next topic that I will be introducing. Inheritance. We can create a class as a subclass of another class. Let's explore what that looks like. We've already created a class called car. Let's create another class called Tesla. Can you guess what is a positive of creating a class that is a subclass of another class? It is that it will automatically inherit all the major class functions. Let's start by making this class empty. I do that by using pass. I can define my underscore Tessie, which is Tessie, model S, and white. I can call fill gas and run it. My output will have information from both classes outputted. Original results will be outputted. Both Lightning is outputted, Tessie is also outputted. The constructor function, the string function, and the fill gas function were inherited. The irony to note here is that Tesla is actually an electric car and cannot be filled with gas. I would need to change that. The function would need to be changed. We can redefine the fill gas function where we can print something else. We can print that this car is electric. Now notice the difference when we output. We see that Tessie is electric, baby. Object-oriented programming is complex. It's a complex subject, but it might not be needed by many people. I want to show you how you can learn about object-oriented programming on your own. We can use Control F and read about dictionaries. We can read about object-oriented programming as well. I have linked this documentation in the description as well. I can explore what dictionary is all about. We can go to dictionary objects and we can also see specific methods. We can see a class that is defined in a dictionary. There's mapping given and a generic given. There are multiple constructors here. This is not to overwhelm you, but to give you an idea about a different method. You can see copy method here, clear method here, item method here, update method here. You can notice that the self keyword is also being used. For instance, here is the length method. When you call this function, it calls this method. You've been working with objects, but now you've learned how to create your own objects and do more complex things. This will be all for today's video. I hope it wasn't too overwhelming. This is Code Pal. Please subscribe to my channel and I will be signing out. Thank you.